people. How are we today? A little bit louder, is that all right? What do you... Riley reckons it's bang on. Lovely. Yeah, you're not wrong. How good were the band, hey?
Pretty good.
Shout out to Amy for organising the band. Once again, shout out to Alex for being on the words. I think it's the track, Alex, if you click off on the track. Lovely. All right, so who here has heard of the prodigal son? Yeah? Who wants to give me a brief run over of it? Anyone? Just quick. Yes. That's bang on. Do you kind of know what it means? Like, if you were to say, hey, can I have my inheritance? Do you know what that kind of means? Like, I wish you were dead. Let you be dead so I can have my share of the money when you die. Anyway, so in Luke 15, Jesus talks, there's three kind of parables where he talks about someone being lost. You've got the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son. So tonight I'm going to be talking about the lost son, but I'm actually not going to be talking about the lost son. I'm going to be talking about his brother who stayed in the fields the whole time. So I've actually got oh, lovely. Look at that. Look at Alex go. So Luke chapter 15, if you've got your e-Bibles, you can open that up, otherwise known as a telephone. Luke chapter 15, verse 11. Yes, sweet. All right, so I'm just going to read a big old block of text, and then I'm going to talk about it. So Jesus continued. So this is continuing on after another parable. There was a man who had two sons. The younger one said to his father, "Father, give me my share of the estate." So he divided up his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had and set off for a distant country, and there he squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him into the fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs are eating. Anything. To his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am, starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I've sinned against you and against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him, and he ran towards his son and threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to the father, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' His servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe, put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and its sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him, 'What's going on?' 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So the father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered to his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you, and I've never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never give me even a young goat, so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property,'" different version, "with prostitutes comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him. 'My son,' the father said, 'you are always with me, and everything I have is yours.' But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." So that's the story of the lost son. What was that? Thanks, Riley. Appreciate that. All right, so often, the main promise of this story is focused on the lost son, which is the primary reason for the story. And as Jesus speaks before it about the lost coin and the lost sheep, leaving the 99 to find the one, these are incredible stories and they're a true testament to God's nature. But I want to focus on the other son tonight, because sometimes in life we can be like him. Sometimes we can be, being like, why do they get that when I've been here the whole time? So as every good sermon, you need a story, right? So here's it's a bit of a stretch, but we're going to apply it and hopefully we have a crack at it, eh? So I remember in primary school, anyway, if you really improved in something, you get a gold star or a smiley face. You guys, yeah? But if you were just chilling the whole time, going unnoticed, you never got a smiley face or a star because you never drastically improved. Yeah? This is good. You guys are relating. This is, we're getting there. So you kind of went unnoticed if you were just decent the whole time, yeah? But I remember being like, why do they get rewarded for doing something that's not even as good as what I'm doing, but I'm not getting rewarded? Maybe I should screw up for a while and then get better so that I get my golden star. Now, obviously at the time, I had some insecurities, but we don't have to address them now. That's for therapy. Yeah. Anyway, but relating back onto the story, you could say that I was tending the fields whilst a few others were returning home. Yeah? Now, it's a bit of a stretch, but we're all with me, yeah? We're on the same page. Page 2 of my sermon. Here we go. So I found for my life, there was so often where I needed a heart check from God, where I needed to be like, what am I actually, where am I going with this, Lord? And I would question God. How come I've been so faithful to you? Which was a lie. It's just that I determined some sins were less than others, and I thought others were sinning more. But yet these people, they'd sin so much, and you still love them. Why do you still love them? And why do you allow them to come back and yet to heaven when I've been here the whole time? That's not fair. I want to be better than them. Has anyone been in that situation where you're like, what's going on there? I've been here the whole time. First of all, in my situation, someone probably should have sat me down and let me know a couple things about what I was doing that was wrong instead of just looking at everyone else. Just because I thought that my things were less bad than what someone else's were. And it's quite a common kind of thing when you're discussing Christianity with someone. This is an actual question. What's kind of the first thing someone thinks of when you bring up Christianity? Religion? Judgment. Lovely. Here we go. Bang on topic. That's probably quite loud in the... Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people's first thoughts is, the church I went to was real judgy. They were real hypocritical. They'd always tell me off the things that I thought they were doing. And Kanye West's song, Hands On, I was going to do a preview of a Kanye West song I was going to do. But anyway, the lyrics, we're back on topic here. The lyrics, what have you been hearing from the Christians? They'll be the first one to judge me, make it feel like nobody loves me. So this is when Kanye became a Christian and he's writing Christian songs. And he was actually bang on when he wrote that lyric. All the people that were against him were the Christians. The brothers in the field thought that their brother wasn't good enough to come back. He thought, that bloke's missed his chance. He's taken his inheritance. He's gone about his life. Let him just do it elsewhere. Why are you letting him come back? But this son had the exact opposite opinion, exact opposite view of what the Father has of us, of what the Father had of the lost son. And I reckon that's why Jesus put him in this story, to let him know that, hey, not everyone's perfect. Sometimes not everyone runs away and they think they're good there, but they actually got stuff wrong in their heart, yeah? All right, this sermon is a bit of a vibe check. I really regret writing that, but I'm saying it right now. Anyway, there's a lot in this message, and there's a lot in that story that I'm not going to cover everything. I just want to cover a few things that really related to me, because I'm preaching this because I've realised this in myself recently. In Matthew 7:5, it says, "You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you'll see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. So this message, this little bit here, that was addressed to the Pharisees. And in Jesus' time, the Pharisees, they'd punish the Jews for all of their sins, yet they wouldn't look at their own hearts. They would only focus on everyone else's downfall, but not their own. So I'm not going to discount people's sin. I'm not saying that sin's all right, but I just want you to focus on your own heart, on your own understanding of God right now. So you see, for me, when I struggled with a lost son would return, it's because I thought maybe they didn't deserve the same as me because they left. But my heart was all wrong in it. So we're going to go back to verse 29 if we can, Dev. And it says here, lovely. I'm going to read off mine because, no, I'll just read off that. Anyway. Yep. But he answered his father, "Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never even gave me a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends." Next one. "But when this son of yours has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him." And verse 31, "My son, the father said, you are always with me and everything I have is yours." So is that what a relationship looks like for you? Like, from the son's perspective, that's not a relationship with the father. He thinks that his worth is based off his works within that. I'm not going to fully address that, but I just wanted to point that out there. The son that was with him had an opportunity to celebrate in Christ, to be able to rejoice in the gift that he was in his father's presence the whole time. But he never did. He thought that, I deserve this through what I do. And the father responded to him, saying, "You are always with me and everything I have is yours." Verse 32, "But right now we've got to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive and has returned." So are you so focused on other people's sins that you cannot celebrate in the glory of God that when they come together? You do not get less of God because someone else has God. It's not a limited resource, it's an unlimited source. I've got 2 points left in this one. So maybe, do you think that God cannot forgive them because you cannot forgive yourself? Have you done something in your life and been filled with so much regret that you cannot let it go? It holds you down and stops you from reaching your full potential. It stops you going from where God wants you to go. I was listening to a sermon series. I'm still listening to it. There's a guy called Mike Todd from Transformation Church. It's a church in Oklahoma. And at the moment, he's doing a thing called Forgiveness University. It's this 15-part series, whatever it is, about forgiveness. Anyway, in the second part, I was watching it the other week, and he talks about offense and how holding on to it can limit you and hold you down. So offense can kind of take many different places. It can take things of, actually being offended, being hurt, people placing that on you. But a lot of it you've got to work through. So how do you expect that you can do all that you can do by being weighed down by all these things that you've done? Do you think that maybe there's a way to release that burden? Yeah, through God. Honestly, this is something that I'm still working through myself. There's things that I've done that sometimes in these moments of despair, I'm like, do I deserve God's love because of this? You reach a point sometimes and it's like, where is God? Is it because I've screwed up? It's definitely not the case. God's grace for you is not determined on your actions, yeah? Yeah, because sometimes you can do stuff and you're like, am I too far gone? Has this one thing I've done finally cut me off? And that's an absolute lie. And you need to keep telling yourself that's a lie. God sent Jesus down to die on a cross for all sins. Yeah? All sins. Not just a couple of them. Not just the one that you did last week, but not the one that you did a long time ago. He died for all sins. And just like the prodigal son, you can return to the Father after doing wrong. And he will welcome you with open arms. The son, on returning, realized that life was much better with the Father. he realized that all that he had done wrong and the situation that he was in, he'd still be better off running back to the Father and asking for forgiveness for what he had done. Now, if none of what I've just spoken about has resonated with you, I want to talk about the opposite side of that. I want to talk about how to help someone through that. So during Young Adults on Monday, Mia, one of the other young adults, she was talking about grace, the fruit of the Spirit, not the person. Anyway, out here. Anyway, she spoke on relationship with one another and how friendship is the best form of discipleship. But one thing stood out to me so much, mainly because it's the topic of what I'm talking about tonight, but it was grace. If someone picks up their belongings and leaves Christ, Ricky, can I get you up, big man? If someone picks up their belongings and leaves Christ, and you're still within Christ, we still need to show them love and grace. We need to be understanding of what they're going through. We need to be understanding of them and know that God still loves them and still love them and show that grace and love towards them. No one wants to return to something if they don't feel loved in that space. No one wants to return to something if they think they're going to be judged on arrival. Faith is a journey. And as a journey, journeys are different. We all have different journeys in life. But on this son's journey, as he was returning, the father was looking out for him because it said a long way off, the father ran towards the son with open arms as he returned. And he threw a party for him. Yeah, how good is that? So when your friends, you have friends and they drift away from God, know that God's still looking out for them. He's there watching them. He's waiting for them to come home. And when they come home, he's going to throw a party. Yeah, so we need to show Christ's love to them and help them come home. Just like we talked about last term, you need to be there for your friends who are going through things, who are feeling unloved. You need to show them grace, show them love through friendship and relationship. And as Mia said on Monday, you don't need the answers to help someone in life. You just need to be their friend. You just need to love them. John 13:35 says, "By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another."